Hey y'all, I'm back with another Legacy video, and I'm going to be playing Dimir Tempo again. And once again, I wanted to start off by saying I was able to finish first place in another challenge this weekend. This was the Saturday morning challenge for me here in Texas. And this time I didn't split, just played all the way through and won. And man, the deck just continues to feel great. I think that this list featuring the 3 Nethergoyf, 3 Fatal Push, 1 Feed the Cycle, 1 Snuff Out, 4 Ponder, I think this list really feels strong for the mirror match. I think it's able to not only top deck a little better in the late game versus like top decking a card like Hymn to Turok, but also has overall a bit faster clock because of the Nethergoyf. It's really hard to put into words why this deck is so good in the mirror, but it clearly is. My win rate is super high in the mirror, which is really important right now. MTG Goldfish has Dimir as the top deck in the format with at least 15% of the meta last I checked. So having a good Dimir matchup is super important. And being on Dimir is also really good just for overall format, success. And something I'm really proud of now is that this list is catching on. I wanted to show some other challenge results from this last weekend. So the Sunday challenge was won by Ocean Soul 92. And Ocean Soul, super talented player, really great resume. It's inspiring that Ocean Soul is picking up this deck. But you'll see this list is the exact same main deck, and sideboard only has one difference: 2 Consign, 1 Null Rod. I just have 3 Consign, but basically the same strategy. And Ocean Soul had an outstanding weekend, not only winning this challenge with an undefeated Swiss, but in the challenge that I won, Ocean Soul also had an undefeated Swiss and was only beaten by me, actually, in the top 8. I squeezed into the top 8 as the 8th place player and took it all the way down from there. But a really outstanding weekend for Ocean Soul, so congrats on that dominance. Completely undefeated in all Legacy challenges except to the exact mirror. And then also I saw that Neymato Grosso, I'm not sure if we've ever played or met, but they had my exact 75 as well, 3rd place in another Legacy challenge. So it's really cool to see the list catching on, and congrats to all the players who have been doing really well with it. I think that it's an outstanding list. The card quality feels so good, and it's really just been treating me right. Leagues are a bit of another story. I was able to get a couple trophies this last week with it, but in leagues, there's a bit more, the meta's just more wide open, and I think there are more people who build like targeted decks that maybe are supposed to be quite good against Dimir Tempo, expecting a Dimir heavy meta game. I feel like that happens more often to me in leagues. So we'll play a league here in a bit and see how it goes. But yeah, it's been a little rougher in leagues than challenges. I did want to say one final note on my challenge and a word of encouragement for people. I see this a lot of times in challenges where people go 0-1 and then they drop. And I started this challenge 0-1, and I was very lucky, admittedly, because round 2 I got paired up into the winner's bracket. And then from there, I won all my matches until the last round. And I got completely annihilated in my last round. And so I was really not expecting to have much of a chance. If you want to have good breakers, you have to win early and lose late. And I lost my first round and then needed to get in on breakers. And I had just like walked away. I still had Magic Online up because I never close it, if I have an outside chance at top 8. and I was just in the middle of doing something else, and I saw, game alert, you have a game. So I was pretty ecstatic about that to have lucked my way into the eighth seed. And then, once you're in the top eight, it doesn't matter. And so I was able to take it down. So all of that to say, if you get a loss, don't just quit on the challenge right away. And even if you're 0-2, like, I mean, that stinks. I 0-2 drop a lot of things, but like, there's still prizes to play for. Not everything is about top eight. And so I would definitely encourage you to just play out your matches a little bit more in challenges. My one exception is showcase challenges. If I 0-2 a showcase challenge, I'll drop that because those are just so long. Those are usually 9 rounds. And so at that point, I kind of want to move on with my day if I know that that's not really going to get me anywhere. But I think it's worthwhile to just be willing to play a little bit more, even if you're not super alive for top eight, even if you're dead for top eight, and just get that experience of playing and get some prizes. And I think you'll have a better time. Well, without further ado, I want to get into this league, and I hope it goes well. All right, I'm on the play for match number 1. And this hand is fine. It's not super exciting, but definitely a keep. And I'll just go Underground Sea and Ponder. And definitely would like to see another land in case it's a Wasteland deck. And then maybe a counter spell of some kind or removal. That'll do. So if this is a fair matchup, this should be pretty good. I will put the Underground Sea on the bottom, draw then Nethergoyf and draw Wasteland. And I have the option to draw all those cards, or if I realize I'm not going to need that third Underground Sea, second Underground Sea, but this is probably getting an Underground Sea, then I don't need that. Okay, so playing this Bobble out right now leads me to believe that an Emery is coming. Yeah. Okay. So that's actually not the worst. And if they don't crack this Bobble, okay, they did. And they see the Murktide. So I probably should save the Wasteland for an Urza Saga. And so I think this would be a good turn to play out Bowmaster. Of course, I think they're liable to go for Chalice. And if they go for Chalice, then Nethergoyf becomes a dead card. So Nethergoyf right now feels like a use it or lose it card. I could go Nethergoyf Surveil to get a bit of value there, and then that can help to get me up to feed the cycle for this. That would give them yet another Emery trigger, but yeah, I think I like that. So I'm kind of punting this turn. I'm just playing my guy, fixing the top of my deck, and seeing what they do, and keeping my options open for next turn. So when I say punting like that, I sort of mean in the football sense, like I'm just not necessarily a mistake, but I'm waiting to see what they do. Okay, so they're actually going for Urza's Bobble. So that means next turn I can Wasteland. So I can kill Emery if they don't have Force of Will in the upkeep. And if they don't crack the Bobble, then I can also just hold up the Bowmaster since it has Flash. Probably I do want that Wasteland, so I'll keep that. So they didn't crack the Bobble. So I do need to wait on that because this will be the second damage so that I can kill Emery. I could also just feed the cycle. I doubt I'm gonna stay back on blocks against the Patchwork. And feed the cycle, it would be really nice actually to wait on that because I do want to get cards in graveyard to Murktide. So you can see it is like a little bit awkward here. The the tension. This is a good example of the tension between Nethergoyf, Murktide Region, and Feed the Cycle. It's all kind of coming up together. I do wonder if they're maybe working their way up to an affinity creature. But yeah, they're going to get to Chalice. Yep. So I get hit for 3. I have to decide if I want to kill, like, Emery here. It would reduce the power of my Nethergoyf, but maybe that's okay. If I wait a turn, I could also Feed the Cycle. I think I'm going to drop the Bowmaster. I think it's just time. I don't want to sit back too long on that. And that can be my chump blocker for the Patchwork. And then this turn, I'm not particularly enticed by wastelanding this. So right now, what I think I'll do is Feed the Cycle, paying the extra black, and just kill Emery that way. If they force, I daze. Okay. And I think right now, I'm just going to race them. And I think this is the turn where something has to happen for them. If a big thing happens this turn, they have a pretty good chance. This looks like Kappa Cannoneer, so if this is backed by Force of Will, they're in pretty good shape. But I will attempt to daze it. Okay, so they have Force. Yeah, now I definitely need to start holding back on blocks. Surprising that they didn't attack. So the Ponder is not a good top deck because of Chalice. So what I will do is, I wonder if I need to Wasteland. If I Wasteland the Tomb, that will set them back on mana. Maybe I just let them have the Tomb, because tapping it is starting to look pretty precarious. I think I'll let them have the Tomb. I'll keep a card in the graveyard, and I'll make a 6/6 Murktide. And then everything else just has to stay back on blocks. So if they don't have an answer for the Murktide, I should be good, because I think they would have to get quite lucky to have a 2-shot from the Cannoneer, and I can chump the Patchwork. And with the chumps, it's basically just save the Bowmaster for last, so chump with the Orc Army first. I wonder if they have another. Ooh, Sink into Stupor on Murktide is quite good. Yep. So that was something I possibly could have played around. So I don't think I can afford to take all of that damage. I will chump here. But I will save the other 2. So I can start loading up my graveyard for the next Murktide while growing my Nethergoyf. So I'm just throwing away cards. And then I will attack with both of these so that they have to leave back at least one of those creatures next turn. The Tomb looks like it's pretty well shut off, so I'm actually just gonna keep chilling on the Wasteland. I just don't want to have them get an Urza's Saga. Okay, another Patchwork is good. So actually I'm dead to another artifact. Yeah, I probably botched that. I should have held back the Bowmaster. Yeah, good game. I also probably could have, I don't know if they had that pedal before this turn, but if I had Wastelanded the Seat, I could have kept them off Sink into Stupor. So they had a lot there. So against this matchup, I like extra removal. Toxic Deluge is nice. Consign to Memory is nice. And I'll take out Daze, a couple Forces, and then after that I pretty much just want to answer things, or I want to reduce my exposure to the Chalice lines. So I'll take out Ponders. I still like Tamiyo. Tamiyo is really good against like Pinnacle Emissary things. Alright, this hand looks good, I'll keep it. to start with Underground Sea. Hopefully they don't go turn 1 Chalice, because I'd like to get a good Brainstorm in here. Lotus Petal. And Patchwork, that's fine. If they're gonna load up this Patchwork, then next turn I can just snuff it out and pay the ward. Another really good application of Snuff Out. Yeah, they're just spamming artifacts. Killing Emery would also be pretty nice. That's probably what I actually have to kill. So I can go to my turn. Okay, Tamiyo with Brainstorm. So I will probably just... I'll probably just snuff the Emery and play Tamiyo. Maybe this turn I actually like brainstorming. See if I can find the third land versus Tamiyo. Okay, there's the land, plus Consign is really good. So I'll probably kill Emery to prevent them from gaining card advantage. And then I can just Toxic Deluge kind of at my leisure. So I don't know if Tamiyo is going to be that good. And then I'll just put, I mean, I kind of like all of these cards. I guess I'll put the Kaito back last, followed by Tamiyo. And then I'll just snuff out the Emery right now. And then next turn I can probably just play Barrogoyf, though there's a risk that they're, okay, and Urza Saga is quite good for them. I don't know if I'm going to be able to take all of that. I probably need to consign the Saga. Okay, Pinnacle Emissary just cast here is good, because that's going to make Toxic Deluge really good, although I'm going to have a pretty low life total. So I shouldn't play out Tamiyo, because it'll just get deluged. So I need to consign here. I could go like Brainstorm, and then replicate Consign. But I do like Kaito as well. If I don't deluge now, I'm taking 7. I go to 6. My life total is going to be really low. So I think I'm just going to deluge now. The Saga makes it really tough. Maybe I can top deck a Wasteland. But they just, they have a lot going on here, and I don't think I can take all of this damage. Maybe I could just Barrogoyf, and then they hold back. I will Barrogoyf, because I could probably use the life gain to afford the deluge. That could also allow me to find a Wasteland next turn, though I don't know if I can afford to Brainstorm. Yeah, there's just a lot to deal with right now from them. So they have seen my Brainstorm. They'll have 3 cards in hand in their main phase. So their success or failure this turn will have a lot to do with how many artifacts are in their hand right now. It would also be really brutal if they had, like, Dismember. Okay, another Saga. Chalice is pretty brutal. And they swing. I think I just have to take this damage. I think this... Actually, I probably should have just blocked and took the trade, because then I wouldn't have to deluge for as much. And I imagine they're going to try to kill my Goyf here. They could maybe chump block. Yeah, so they're going to trade. I gain some life. I can wipe the board, but then they just continue to have Sagas, and I have all dead cards in hand because of Chalice, so I don't know how I'm going to win this. Like, they probably can... Well, their Lava Spur Boots is in their graveyard, but they probably just have me dead next turn. Yeah, I'm just gonna scoop. I guess I'll take a draw step. Yeah, I'm just dead. Good game. I'm on the play. This hand looks good. I'll keep it. I think my opponent plays like tempo decks. Well, like, Izzet. So just start with the ponder. Murktide looks really good if that's what I'm up against. Yeah, more lands. Removal. Looks great. Draw the snuff out. And the reason why I drew the snuff out there as opposed to the land is I do think that this player plays Delver, like Izzet, so I want to play around exactly Mishra's Bauble right there. So now they just see the land, so like now they're less likely to waste land, though if they did, I wouldn't be that mad. Okay. No play from them means I'll probably waste land. Like, I'm pretty set up on lands. And what I would really like to avoid them getting is a cutter. I think cutter is how I lose. So I'll just wasteland this. Okay, lightning bolt face in response. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, and then dazing it. Okay, so that must be the only land. Because this is like a super desperate play to avoid getting wasteland. But that's pretty heads up. That's good. So yeah, that's fine. I'll take a daze and a bolt out of hand. DRC, sure. Probably just gonna snuff this out. But I will probably first go to my turn and play Brainstorm. Give them the opportunity to daze that. Because I don't really need anything right now. I just need cards in graveyard for Murktide. So if they want to set themselves back for tempo and daze this, like if I look more desperate, okay, they are dazing it, and they did know I had the polluted delta, so they know so they maybe even had some sense that this could have been bait, actually. Nevertheless, here we are. So now I know that there's no cutter coming next turn. Another daze has been gotten out of their hand, so I'll play the delta, and before this channeler does anything to me, I'm just gonna snuff it out. Obviously, I'll regret it if I die to a Murktide, but I'm also just looking for cards in graveyard for my own Murktide. And so they have 4 unknown cards, presumably all spells, except for, or the unknown cards are spells. Okay, a Delver. I don't think I'm going to daze the Delver. I think I'm so close to Murktide. Backed by daze now, actually. And in fact, I wonder if I could even Brainstorm here. I don't think I need, like, a 6/6 Murktide is pretty good. I guess a 7/7 Murktide gets above Unholy Heat, if that's a card that my opponent has. I think I will actually end step Brainstorm so that I can make my Murktide a little bigger. And if this gets dazed, that's fine. Ooh, not only was it not dazed, those cards look great. I will probably play the Murktide because once Murktide is a 7/7, the Delver doesn't really matter. So if the Delver flips, it's fine. If Daze is my backup, I don't think I need the Force, so I'll draw a Bowmaster and just give up on Force of Will. All right, here comes Murky. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll leave the polluted delta in the yard. If they have Force, I have the Daze. Okay, no Force of Will. I also will be able to daze a Petty Theft for the foreseeable future. So I think that this Murktide is just going to be great. If they can't flip the Delver, that's also really excellent. Awesome. So now I'll have another crack at removing it with Orcish Bowmasters. So if they're just giving me their Delver here, because they're attacking with a 1/1 into my 7/7, so this communicates to me that they have a land, and they have 2 lightning bolts, which is also something I could probably blow out. But I also can get the Bowmaster in and kill the Delver. And then I can save my days for an actual threat of theirs. And if they're bolting my Bowmaster, that's not a big deal because it's already traded for the Delver. So even though I sense the opportunity for a blowout here, and now I think I know 3 cards in their hand, unless they're bluffing, I'm just going to take the damage. I think if this 7/7 stays on the board, I'm just going to win. Okay, Ponder, sure. And now I do think it's really important to save the days because they're liable to have a Murktide, which would be bigger than mine. So that is the thing that I absolutely must avoid. Okay, another cantrip is fine. Okay, so they scryed 2 to the top after declining the Ponder. So they saw the same 2 cards and I guess just decided those were fine. Another land, think I'm good. I guess if I kept that land, I could double Bowmaster. I think Bowmaster plus Ponder, though, is better, though actually I think the best play is Bowmaster, say go, because I don't want to play into days for like a Murktide if they have it. So here's Bowmaster. If they force, it's totally fine. They are going to flip the Delver, though, if they're topping cards off Preordain, I'm sure. Okay, sweet. Now, there are ways that they could get me to play into a daze, or, yeah, now if they have Murktide, they've played around daze, and having the bigger Murktide here is definitely really good. I could finish off their Murktide, though, with the Bowmaster in hand. So that is a possibility. But having the Alpha Murktide is really good in the Tempo mirror. I still assume that 2 of their cards are Lightning Bolt. Ooh, Kaito off the top is really good. I could just, but if they have Lightning Bolt, then the Kaito only taps down Murktide and then dies. I'll start with Ponder. Ooh, there's the Feed the Cycle. So I'm going to put the Force on the bottom, then Feed the Cycle. I'll draw Wasteland, play Wasteland. I don't think I'm going to Wasteland them, though. I think this is going to be how I play my Bowmaster around days. I think I'm going to say go, hold the Bowmaster, surprise them in combat. I could also just swing out, but I think I'm going to hold back. Days starting to look not great. So actually, if I had kept that Force of Will way back when, that would have been better. All right, my opponent thought for quite a while there, so I do wonder what could be available to them. So I think I'm going to go to blocks, put 7 damage on this Murktide, and let the damage happen so that there's no like petty theft. Okay, Dragon's Rage Channeler is fine. They don't have Delirium. That being said, I'm gonna have to stick with the plan and gun down the Murktide. So 1 damage onto Murktide. Downfalls the 8/8, presumably here. I don't think they can instant speed remove a Ponder from their graveyard. Sweet. So now I'm very liable to be able to get Kaito down. I could also Feed the Cycle. I think I like the idea of offering the trade. If they have any cantrips in hand, then they are liable to want to get an Orcish Bowmasters off the table. Now, if they get Delirium here, okay. So actually, I'm going to miss some damage here, but I think this is a pretty heads-up play. So I have priority right now to go to combat damage. If I go to combat damage, these things trade. If they have a Bolt in hand, Bolt automatically gets them Delirium. So any sort of instant would prevent Kaito from, or possibly prevent this from being a trade. And then the Dragon's Rage channel would be a 3/3. So I'm going to go to combat damage. Okay. Everything I said is a lie. Just now. I was just passing priority to go to, okay. So here's Unholy Heat on the other Bowmaster. So now actually, what I said though is it's actually even better because now I can blow this out. So ninjutsu is instant speed. So I'm going to not wasteland them. I don't know, maybe I could wasteland them. But actually, if I get another land, I can feed the cycle to Channeler. So I'll pick up the Bowmaster. The Unholy Heat will fizzle, but they will get my Bowmaster off the table. And they have a good chance to finish off the Kaito. I could just minus, but then I get nothing for the Kaito, and if they have a bolt, that stinks. So I'm going to try to spike the land. No land, but I think those cards are going to get the job done. I'll put the Bowmaster on top and draw Force of Will. So I can force something really devastating. They'll probably get to kill my Kaito, but double Bowmaster should be able to handle their board. This has been a really interesting one. So the Channeler has to attack, and they go after the Kaito, and then Lightning Bolt. So now I'm actually thinking way back when, if they had Delirium when they offered the Delver to my Murktide, because then maybe they didn't have Double Bolt, and my perception of their hand has just been a little bit wrong for quite a while. This turn, I think I'm just going to double Bowmaster and push damage. I should have probably tapped without tapping the Wasteland. And I definitely should have played. I have these mismatched Bowmasters, and this is the art they didn't know about, so I was just way too casual about that. And I will give them the opportunity to daze this Bowmaster. That's totally fine. I hate making daze live at this point of the game, but I also like pushing damage. And with a removal spell and Force of Will in hand, like, any trade that this gets is totally fine. Sure. So they still have a lethal attack next turn to contend with, and I have a removal spell and Force of Will. Dragon's Rage Channeler has to attack, so I think I got this. Yep, so I'll take the 3, go to 10. They have 2 unknown cards. One is the land they dazed back. Another Channeler is fine. I'll save the Feed the Cycle for that. And the reason to save the Feed the Cycle is a couple things. Number one, if they have a removal spell, I want to have the force for that. And so I can just cleanly answer this, pay the forage. This time I will leave the Wasteland untapped. Force of Will for whatever their last card is. Sweet. Well, that was a very long and drawn out game 1. They did have Delvers, so I don't know if they have a full complement of Cutters. But I always bring in the same cards regardless. So I take out Thought Seizes just because even though like Thought Seizing a Murktide or frankly any threat is pretty good, I'm just doing them a favor, lowering my life total. So I take out a couple Force of Wills and the Thought Seizes for all of those removal spells. And Hydroblast, which is sort of a hybrid removal or counter spell. Just a much more efficient card than Force of Will. And the MVP in this matchup is definitely Barrow-Goyf. If you can get the Goyf down, you're liable to win. Like, just once your life total starts going up against Delver, they're really going to struggle. All right, game 2 on the draw. Definitely looking at a mulligan here. No lands. Only Wasteland. Definite mulligan. Sure. Bottom of Murktide and the Kaito. Alright, well this is pretty bad here. That's a pity after such a good game 1. All right. I'll probably surveil with this land. Like everything right now needs to be like a home run play. Like surveilling has to find the other land. They're not gonna have wasteland. Okay. They flip right away. I guess a sub game here is that the clock is pretty low for them compared to me. So playing this out might serve me well, but they're gonna get me dead really quickly. So it's fine. Okay, they did have cutter actually, so yeah, I'm gonna die really quickly, I sense. So the surveil land has to find me another land. Um, yeah, sure, I'll take the brainstorm. Brainstorm has to find me probably 2 more lands to have much of a chance here. Oh my god, no lands. Um, just put back a couple spells. Yeah, that's really bad. So multi-5 into Surveil Land, into Brainstorm, into Brainstorm Lock. Better to get all this out in the same game when I'm up a game. But yeah, it really sucks. There's that Brainstorm I knew about. I'll allow them to get rid of some clock and expend some mental energy on this game, but I have completely mentally checked out from this. I probably will snuff out playing into days. No response. I'll daze this. That's really my only chance, is to limit the damage. And I missequenced this because I should have snuffed out first and then dazed. And then I could have chosen whether to daze one or the other spell. So, like if they had daze, for instance. So I'm taking some damage unnecessarily here. But as I said just before that, this is a game that I am pretty mentally checked out from, and I'm just trying to eat some clock and make my opponent think a bit. And maybe next game will be that much harder. I'm probably just dead next turn though. Like if they have 2 spells. Okay, forcing that. So it will take 2 spells to get me dead this turn. Or if one of those spells is Lightning Bolt, then it's probably fine. All right, well, I hope I get a keepable 7 for game 3. And I don't have any changes. I already leave in all the dazes no matter what, even on the draw, so it's going to be the same thing here. Okay, on the play for game 3, and yeah, a risky one, but I will keep it. Ponder will have to find me more lands. Show me 3 lands. No lands. Okay, great. Okay. Well, shuffle paid off. So I have removal, I have a threat, I have cantrip. So now double wasteland would be rough. Even honestly, one wasteland would be rough here. But I'm not locked out of the game by a wasteland. And yeah, dual land into ponder shuffle. I think wasteland cheese is a good line. So definitely think that was fine for them to do that. Okay, now the lands are coming. This Goyf is going to be pretty big. It could get bolted this turn, which would stink. But if not, then it's going to get over bolt pretty immediately. All right, you can keep wastelanding me, that's fine. Probably means I'll be hitting them for 2 this turn. I don't think I'm going to like surveil with the delta. And I'm certainly not going to brainstorm to push damage. That's kind of one thing I don't like about these prowess decks is like I'm so particular about the timing of my cantrips that I hate the idea of like fetching right here and brainstorming to push damage. But you kind of have to play that way. So this is looking like end step surveil. I don't think I'm going to play around a 3rd wasteland. And in fact, I do wonder if their slow start could mean that my wasteland is good. We'll see. Okay, no play. I kind of don't mind if they bolt the Nethergoyf. I'd be a little sad because I want to really ride the Nethercoif as far as I can. Like, this gives them a really good window to bolt it. And it looks like that's what's happening. But if they do that, then I do have the Murktide coming soon. Yeah, that's fine. So I'll get the Surveil. Would like to see probably yet another land. Barrowgoyf is good. I'll top that. Gives me another reason to not wasteland, though I will Brainstorm. Give them a chance to daze. It'd be a little scary, actually, if they daze this. Okay, another land. Push. Snuff out. This is all looking really good. I think I'm just putting back the Brainstorms. I think I kind of have my end game here figured out. So I'll play the Delta. I can redraw a Brainstorm. I'm good against their Murktide or whatever. Barrowgoyf is pretty good against Cutter. Though I would prefer that they not have Cutter here, to be honest. That would be pretty annoying. Looks like that is what they have, sure. But no spell. They're very far from having Delirium. I think I will draw one Brainstorm. And I could Wasteland. I could go like Murktide and then Wasteland their red. But I think I want to play Barrowgoyf instead. And just hope they don't have days. Sweet, no days. No Unholy Heat that they'll be able to cast. Or, you know, they don't have Delirium, I should say. And especially when you're on the play, I think jamming into days is not so bad as a tempo player. They probably have taken some number of dazes out. This DRC is going to be pretty easy to clear. That's probably what this Fatal Push is going to go after. And if they don't make a land drop this turn, maybe I will Wasteland them. And when Quarry Steel Cutter is just producing chumps, feels pretty good. Now, they will inch closer to Delirium for a possible Unholy Heat, which is a little scary. Okay, there's the land, so I don't think I'm going to mess around with Wastelanding them, especially since I don't have a daze. They could make a desperate play of like cast Unholy Heat, Surveil into Delirium. Be pretty cool if that worked out. Okay, some attack here definitely means to me that they have a bolt that they're willing to throw at this Goyf. Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna fall for that. So now they have to block with the Channeler, which makes pushing it seem extra good. Snuff Out probably has to be saved for Murktide. Let's see. Okay, I like the land. I think I will start with Fatal Push. I want to connect with Barrowgoyf, and I want to push this thing anyway. So even though, like, if they chumped, I would be down a card. But this way, like, second main, I could... Okay, something's happening here. Brainstorm, sure. Wish I had the Orcish Bowmasters to punish this. But this kind of... I don't like this play from them. Like, are they going to force a will? If they find that card? Delirium is on now, though, so Unholy Heat will be pretty good. Pyroblast is another likely card, so Murktide is definitely very risky. It maybe makes me want to save the Brainstorm for a time that they could Pyroblast. Okay, days. So they make a Monk. And I wonder if that's just their plan, if they're going to chump with the Monk. I would accept that. So I will pay. I should have let all of this stuff resolve before tapping my land, but they have to know I'm paying for days. Okay, sweet. Yeah, I'll definitely accept this trade here. That's fine. I go back to 20 life. I'll play Flooded Strand, and I'm going to say go. And I'm going to Brainstorm on their turn, like after combat, and give them an opportunity to Pyroblast, provided that they have an untapped red source. And it would be great to do it, like if they go Murktide here, like Okay, Ponder is fine. I don't want to give them another dude or let them push damage unnecessarily with the Brainstorm, but I really want the Brainstorm to be bait for the Pyroblast that I would like to play around. Okay, they shuffle. They're probably looking for Unholy Heat. Preordained, so there's their Monk. This is all good. Yield to all. 0 to the top. Bobble, so they're going to push some damage here. That's fine. Yield to all. Now Goyf is a 5/6. Okay, no attacks. I think they probably should have attacked with at least one of them because this prowess is so high. So I will make this this Brainstorm extra juicy to Pyroblast. I'll Brainstorm right now. Okay. Double Wasteland seems really good though. So I'll just put back the lands. Wasteland this. And I'll go to combat. Presumably they are chumping. Yeah, that's fine. Life total keeps going up. Wasteland the other volcanic. Fetch, Underground Sea, cast Ponder, Tamiyo, and 2 more lands. Yeah, why not? That's fine. I'll play the Tamiyo now. So the problems are kind of mounting for them, including the clock. So things are looking a little rough here. Okay. Maybe they Pyroblast Tamiyo. Then next turn I can jam a Murktide. Bolt. Okay. That's fine. I'm going to F6. And I would swing with the 4/4, yeah. I think they should have swung last turn too. But if every turn I'm just gaining life with the Goyf, eventually they're going to run out of double spells. They're going to run out of time though first. So this turn I'll probably actually play the Nether Goyf, if I can do so without losing card types. Though both these graveyards are pretty stacked. So life back up to 25, play the land, play Nether Goyf, instant, land, sorcery, creature. So now there's multiple creatures, 51 seconds left, counting down. All right. Yeah, good game. That was a really great match. And a good showcase of the strengths of Dimir, actually, versus Izzet. All right, I'm on the draw for match number 3. I'll keep this hand. It's a little risky. Verdant Catacombs is a card I do wonder about if this would just be better as like a blue fetch land. But I guess I was seeing a lot of lists that had like a black fetch land or even multiple black fetch lands. And so I've always just kind of rolled with it, at least for the last month plus, I would say. But in times like this where the mana is a little light, I mean, any other fetch land would have been better because I'm sort of forced into fetching a duel. Now, Tundra is not often a deck that will have Wasteland, but I'm going to go ahead and ponder. If they're not a Wasteland deck, this is great. But I already have Orcish, I already have Force. I'm just going to shuffle. Cool. And they Ponder shuffled too, so it seems like we're in the same boat. Alright, they are a Wasteland deck. Well, now I'm super glad that I took the line that I did. And Guide of Souls. Okay, so it's like an energy deck. I don't think I'm in a position to force the guide, sadly. So next turn I can Tamiyo, and then hopefully the Brainstorm that will flip Tamiyo will also find a land. So definitely I have to hope that they don't have a second Wasteland. Oh no. Alright, it's going to be a rough one, unless I top deck a land immediately. Mockingbird. I guess I'll force this, pitch a Murktide. I don't want them to have a Tamiyo. Or another guide for that matter. So if I top deck the land, I'll feel good. If I don't top deck the land, it's going to get rough. Wasteland? Well, I will wasteland them. But definitely going to need to very quickly find another mana source. There's an argument to not wastelanding them there, because then I can crack clues or play Bowmaster soon, but I think we're both struggling for mana. This is my read based on their original Ponder Shuffle off of a dual land. And so, yeah, let's just be in the dirt together. Awesome. So I will brainstorm. And I'm not going to play around any more wastelands. Okay, Tamiyo flips still no lands. Let's see, what's the worst card here that I could ponder away? Maybe another Tamiyo. Yeah, I guess the best cards are Nethergoyf and Ponder. I'll be casting that Ponder next turn. I'll put back Tamiyo and Brazen Borrower. So hopefully they just don't top deck any lands, and I can Tamiyo Ultimate. All right. Mockingbird, sure. So they're pretty rolled up now. If they can get another creature, they can pressure the Tamiyo. Wouldn't mind finding a Snuff Out off of this. All right, the other land I think just means I need to take that. I'll bin Tamiyo. Keep plussing. They're going to have like a one-time hit of energy that they can... Yeah, this is pretty good. Giver of Runes, sweet. So now they can pressure Tamiyo. Okay, Tamiyo goes back to 4. Brainstorm. I think I want to play Murktide this turn. 3, 4, 5. I'll leave a sorcery in the yard for Nethergoyf. Looks like they just have swords, sure. All right. Play on. Now my opponent has a Tamiyo. That's really good. If they have another creature, then they can get that ability again. So right now we have a stalemate between their attacks and the Tamiyo. I like Brainstorm right now. Okay, more Bowmasters, feed the cycle. They're probably going to be able to plus again. So I probably don't need multiple Bowmasters, but I like the Borrower and the feed the cycle. Netherglyph also looks pretty bad. I'll actually get rid of those 2 1-drops, and I will have the multiple Bowmasters. So if they do try to flip the Tamiyo, I have Bowmaster if they try to flip Tamiyo. So I think I'm just going to let this all go through. And then right now I can actually kill the Giver of Runes if they don't have an answer for Bowmaster. So I'll flash that in. And I need to answer the Giver. Okay, that kind of stinks. But I'll have another crack at that same play next turn. I'll cast Ponder. I do like Thoughtseize right now. And Orcish Bowmasters. So I'll wait a turn on the Thoughtseize, because I do want to flash in Bowmaster and threaten the same play. So it looks like they keep drawing non-creatures, or they would be playing something out first main. So I'll yield to all of this. No blocks. The stalemate continues. And I will attempt once again the Bowmaster play. Put a damage on Giver of Runes. Giver, importantly, cannot target itself. But they are going to give this guy protection. So it looks like this time they're planning on losing the Giver. Cool. Another land. Alright, so now I like Thoughtseizing. Take Force. Yeah, I figured they didn't have a whole lot going on there. And then I will pass. Probably will actually swing with the 3/3. And then I have a lot of options coming up. Chief among them, though, would be to kill the thing that is pressuring my Tamiyo. Okay, play out a land. So probably no creature. And they didn't attack with Tamiyo this time, interestingly. So I will take this opportunity to pay the forage cost on Feed the Cycle and kill that guy. Now I'm drawing Kaito, which really isn't that great right now. But I can finally take the Tamiyo up to 8. And with the Petty Theft, like they're really going to have, first of all, a creature that they play out first main, and then something pretty special. I don't know. I'd have to have like Spell Pierce or something for me to not ultimate. Okay, that's fine. So they'll probably spend this energy to put counters on that guy. They can yield to all of these many triggers and still yield. And then cast Petty Theft on this. Now they can play that because that's the Mockingbird. I think what they're liable to do is play that back out as an Orcish Bowmasters, but I have Orcish Bowmasters here. So they actually, I think they had a line there. I just had it covered. All right, this seems like a pretty similar plan to last time where I want removal. However, I also want Toxic Deluge for a board wipe. So no Hydroblast, but yes, Deluge. I think Nethergoyf might be tricky because they have a lot of flyers. I think I don't want Daze, and I think I want to chill out on some Force of Wills. And maybe just a Thoughtseize on the draw and keep the Goyfs. The Goyfs could be good, but they're liable to have Guide of Souls making flyers. I don't know, maybe I'll get to remove stuff, and then Goyf can clean up in quick order. All right, this is another risky hand from a mana perspective. It's also slow, but it's Island Ponder, so definitely keeping. If they have a turn 1 Tamiyo, that's going to be very good for them. Ponder, sure. So a basic land and a Ponder. Conservative start, but probably for the best. They did shuffle. Okay, actually got a land there. I think I'm still going to start with the Underground Sea and Ponder because I want to brainstorm away probably at least one of these big threats. Maybe the Wasteland, depending on what this Ponder shows me. Yeah, those cards are fine. Still would really like to dodge Wasteland. All right, no Wasteland. And no play, so that's pretty cool. Seeing as there was no Wasteland or no play, I think I like going Brainstorm right now. Okay, I think 3 Barrowgoyfs is a bit much. And I think Murktide is probably the other one. And I'll go ahead and get on board with Nethergoyf and just start chaining the Goyfs. This could be getting dazed. I would love for them to daze Nethergoyf when Barrowgoyf is coming next turn, but let's see. Hardcast daze, sure. That grows my Goyfs. Sure, Brainstorm is good. They're liable to have a Swords for at least one of the Goyfs, but I'd rather a Goyf get swordsed than dazed. Okay, Giver. That is pretty annoying. I might have to deal with that. Double Giver. That's just going to block the Goyfs really well. However, I can answer both of them, actually. So what I could do is spend this turn answering one of them. And then when they respond to, like, they go to blocks and then respond by giving another one protection, that's when I pounce with the Barrowgoyf. I'll snuff out the one with flying, and then just drop this Barrowgoyf. Please don't have another daze. Oh, they had another daze. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, next turn, they're pretty unlikely to have yet another daze. But something like swords is likely, so yeah, that daze was pretty rough. In fact, I think I'm just gonna ponder into all these open lands. Those are okay. That'll get me around days. I'll put the swamp on the bottom. Play this wasteland. Just wasteland them. Okay, they float mana. And cast Brazen Borrower. Sure. I think I'll go ahead and kill their Giver. Exiling some cards from my yard. Tamio's good. I probably have to kill that. Alright, just taking damage. I will forage, kill Tamio, exile some different cards. I can also bring back my own Nethergoyf, but it's gonna be a little harder. Alright, those are pretty nice. So I'll put Kaito on very bottom, draw the swamp, play the swamp. And then next turn, probably Murktide. I'd rather them swords the Murktide than the Barrowgoyf. Giver, that's annoying. Alright, here is Murktide. I mean, I'm quite certain they have a swords, but wouldn't mind the hit of life if they swords it. And then Barrowgoyf will be a nice follow-up. Exercise. Yikes. Okay. And actually, the way the board is now, they cannot block the Barrowgoyf. They could block it with Giver. Here's Barrowgoyf. Wasteland you. Okay. They could still have swords and want to play around days. Any other creature means... Oh my god, another exercise. That stinks. So now my options are becoming pretty limited. So I'll play Tamio. When they give this thing pro blue, I petty theft it. Yeah, this is pretty annoying. They're just allowing me to chump with Tamio. Yeah, that's a good play. Good play. So now I think I'm just dead. If they play correctly. Yeah. Let's see. I'll flash in the Borrower. I'm sure they'll give it pro blue. But maybe they want to play around me having removal. Sure. Alright, I'm dead. Okay, yeah, have to hope that game 3 goes a bit better than that. I think I'll bring in a Thoughtseize on the play and take a Force out. Still think I don't like Daze since they have all the basics. No lands. 1 land and Ponder. I mean, I'm not going to go to 5. Just bottom Brazen Borrower. Doesn't look good, though. This Ponder had better find me lands. They're also mulling. I do feel like on the mulls, Wasteland is a card you're more likely to bottom, but really just depends on the texture of your hand. So show me some lands, please. No lands. Well, Wasteland, sort of a land, not really. If I don't get Wastelanded, then it's great, actually. Okay. Plains, Mother of Runes, okay. I'm really happy they played something I could Bowmaster. And I'll take the risk. I want to get this thing off the table. So they have another opportunity to Wasteland me. And then I could be in the dirt. But I would have Wastelanded right there if I had it. So that's why I think I have another turn to ponder. Cool. No Wasteland. Ocelot Pride. Cool. I definitely can answer that. And Tamio. So I can answer both those cards in the same turn with Snuff Out and then start pushing damage. And if they kept a hand that had like a cantrip in it, then that's going to be really good. So I will just spend this turn answering their creatures. Fatal Push Tamio. Snuff out Ocelot Pride, and attack with Bowmaster. If they have to spend a removal spell on Bowmaster, that's going to feel pretty good, though I would prefer that it stick around. Also need to dodge Wasteland one more turn, if possible. Okay, pondering into the Bowmasters. They don't have a removal spell, or at least didn't want to fire one off right there. They could have more of that, was it Exercise, or the card that was able to kill the 4 power or greater thing that they killed multiple of my creatures with last turn. Shuffle, I like that. Still have to dodge Wasteland. Oh no. Alright. Ocelot Pride, sure. And Wastelanding, yeah, pretty good. Oh my god. Top deck the land right away. I'm just gonna clear this Ocelot Pride. Pay Forage. This thing just gets out of hand, and I'll leave the sorcery in the yard for card type purposes for Nethergoyf. And yeah, just keep pushing damage. Giver, that's annoying. And a land, so probably should not think about wastelanding them. I really like that second Bowmaster. I'll just attack here, and I'm gonna push damage. With them so low on cards, and if they have something like Brainstorm in hand, now that a single removal spell will not permit them to Brainstorm, though their board could get out of hand. Okay, I can finally cast this Ponder. So I guess I'll do that first. If I find yet another Bowmaster, I can push more damage. Deluge is cool, except for the fact that I have 2 Orcish Bowmasters in play. But I guess it's a nice failsafe. And then the Nethergoyfs could, you know, do the final bit of damage. I'm just gonna guess their last card is a Brainstorm. Or like Force of Will or something, Daze, something dead. Okay, looks like they're passing. Very glad to see no creature. So I'll swing with the Orc Army and the 2/3 Goyf. Then they can block and give protection. Ooh, Petty Theft my token. That's annoying, but that's good. So no damage pushed this turn, but the Goyfs are just starting to pile up. And the 3/1 body of Brazen Borrower is not of particular concern right now. Mockingbird copying something. Probably Guide. Okay, Nethergoyf, interesting. Theirs is bigger. Uh-oh. So I don't have a land in my graveyard. That can actually buff my Goyfs. So I'm gonna go to combat and attack with the 2 Nethergoyfs. And then they can block. I'll wasteland their fetch land, which is unfortunate. And then I'll play my land. Next turn I get to actually have a draw. Another giver. Alright. I can see what that last card in hand is. That's not a bad play. If it's Daze, yeah, I think I should Thoughtseize and see what this last card is. It's probably Brainstorm, but let's see. Exercise, okay. So no point in attacking. Next turn, I'm just gonna have to go for the Deluge, though, if I don't top deck a better play. Okay, cool. So they are attacking. That's kind of annoying, because that means this thing could live from a Deluge. So I go to 11. Thoughtseize, pretty bad. I could also just nuke the whole board, and then start bringing back my Goyfs. I think that's just what I have to do. So I'll go to combat, and I'll swing out, and let's just see what they do. Okay. So my Goyfs are actually bigger now. So if I went Deluge for X equals 1, or rather 2, so this Goyf only has 1 damage. I'm going to do X equals 2. So I'll lose a Goyf, but they're going to lose their whole board except for this guy here. And I'm still gonna need to do something. Yeah, I'm still gonna need something to go right here. I maybe needed to just nuke the whole board. Like I need a removal spell, or yeah. Yeah, that's not good enough. Good game. So they flash in Brazen Borrower, and then they have lethal. Alright, I'm on the play for match number 4. Yeah, this hand's fine. Start with basic Island and Tamiyo. Alright, looks like some sort of blue mirror. And it looks like Tamiyo is going to get to live, which is amazing. And finding the land right away is really good too. Suppose I'll play the Delta and plan on getting a basic. If they show me something that lets me know I can get a duel, I'll do that, because that would help with Murktide. But this might just be a Tamiyo solo game. Hedge Maze, interesting. Could be like Beanstalk, Show and Tell. Alright, that's an invite to Wasteland next turn, I think. There was a pause on that fetch line. I assume they were just thinking about playing around Orcish Bowmasters. Yeah, I'm going to be a little bullish with the lands and get the Underground Sea. Archive Trap, interesting. Target opponent mills 13 cards. Sure. I guess I get to Murktide next turn. Cool, Bowmaster. Very cool list that my opponent is playing. So I'll Wasteland first main, and I'll just go for like a maximum sized Murktide here. I have no idea if this is going to be a good match or not, but if they mill me more, I can get another Murktide and grow it. If they have Force, I would probably force it, yeah. Sure. This town ain't big enough. Turn up to 2 target non-land permanents. Okay, cool. Okay, no more milling. I wonder if I can wait on the next Murktide. I can flip Tamiyo. I think I prefer the Bowmaster play, though it's possible I just need to get things going with Murktide. I don't know, I'll wait. Search your library for a trap card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Sure. Okay. So basically I can't fetch anymore, or I mill 13 cards. It's kind of fine. Just play Bowmaster. Like, if they're not going to Wasteland me, I don't really have to play into this Archive Trap. Daze is fine. And I think I'm going to make the same play again. I'm just going to do it right now. Play Bowmaster. I don't know if they really play cantrips. It's hard to imagine that they wouldn't. Put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library. Sure. That's sort of an awkward card in a mill deck. It slightly grows my deck, but I guess they're going to mill it. I don't know. Alright, and I'll just do this now because I want to push damage. If they force or daze, it's fine. Yeah, force a will, totally fine. Once again, pitching this town ain't big enough. I wish I could play a deck that played this town ain't big enough. It would be a flavor success for my username. So this brainstorm was predictable after they went through the trouble to force the Bowmaster. And I haven't cantripped in a while. I've been kind of stuck on mana. So next turn, I'll probably double Ponder. I really think I have to avoid giving them the Archive Trap, though. Like, they're starting to run out of cards a little bit. But, okay, Brainstorm is great. I can just flip Tamiyo and still have a mana open. I'm very flooded on clues. And if I can get Kaito in at any point, that would be great. Okay, Kaito... Quite honestly, I don't want the Verdant Catacombs. I'm going to try to avoid that if possible. So I'll use a Ponder to shuffle my library. Dazing Ponder, sure. So they have Archive Trap. and a couple unknown cards. Wasteland, that's fine. I mean, at this point, like, it's kind of just about the Tamiyo ultimate. Sadly, I don't have a Force of Will in my yard after all of that stuff that they did. But I can ponder now. Their one card is Archive Trap. Honestly, at this point, it's not even looking that bad. I don't like those cards. And I'll play Verdant Catacombs, give them some hope. But I'm going to try to Tamiyo Ultimate if they don't give me any reason to do anything else. And then once I draw Force of Will, I mean, I'll probably also draw lands off the -7. So let's just see. All right. They have something spicy. Let's see. Search your library for a trap, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Yeah, that's fine. Another archive trap. Yeah, that's fine. So now I have Force of Will, plenty of lands. Yeah. So now I'll Thoughtseize, take an archive trap. Wow, Mindbreak trap. This is like Simic traps. But yeah, I can't mill 13 cards anymore because I auto lose. So it's very important that I keep these forces around. Thoughtseize that next turn. Should be good. Could force Brainstorm. How many forces do I have in my hand? 1, 2, just 2. I'm not gonna force Brainstorm. Mindbreak Trap should be dead. I can just play around that. This deck is, well, it's probably gone now with Brainstorm if I had to guess. Okay, Wasteland. Yeah. I mean, this has been quite the game. But yeah, I just have lands that I can use now. So I'll Thoughtseize. Take Archive Trap. Their one card is Daze. It's going to be pretty easy to play around. And like I could just play a Murktide now. I will fetch. Okay, I don't even have fetchable there to consider, so I don't need another Orcish Bowmasters. So I'll plus the Tamiyo and then pass. This is a weird one, but should be over at this point. All right, I'll just go to combat, swing. I've never cracked a clue all game, I don't think. I will wasteland them. And then I'll play Murktide. Should be able to get max value, though I haven't really looked at my graveyard yet. 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's Murktide. I have double Force of Will. They daze. I'll pay. If they have another daze, okay. All right, so they are dead on board. And I'll go to combat, try to win. Sweet. All right, I maybe actually do like Force of Negation against this deck. I don't think I can afford to play Barrowgoyf because I need to make sure I don't mill myself. It didn't seem like they played Tamiyo. Maybe also like Surgical. Surgical on Archive Trap could be pretty good. I will just start by taking out all the removal. Don't remember seeing anything that would affect. And then I still have a card to bring in, actually. Yeah, really tough. I don't know if Consign will have any targets. It didn't seem like there's not like the trap things aren't a trigger. I suppose I'll leave in. I don't know if they play like those crabs. I'll just have one fatal push just in case. All right, this hand seems good. They are gonna get to trap me immediately if they want. Carpet. Okay. Well, I was thinking about getting Basic Swamp to play around Wasteland, and now they've just extra incentivized me to do so. I could have played the Underground Sea to play around Archive Trap, but I don't know. I have a Murktide in hand. All right, so they do have an Uro. That's annoying. Kind of hurting for mana. I guess I'm going to take the second carpet. Yeah, it's gonna be tricky. So they can ponder and then clear a card they don't want with the hedge maze. Next turn they can Uro because I will have to play into the carpet. Didn't shuffle. And okay, played another land. Alright, I'm just gonna play out Tamiyo. I'll hope it doesn't get removed. But this card's gonna be dead. Mindbreak Trap. That's such a weird card to still have in against me. Yeah, they get to Uro. They're pretty close already on the graveyard, unfortunately. If they hedge maze and then put anything into the bin, then they're just one card away. Okay. Interesting. I think I would have probably been just about anything to get this Uro back next turn. Force of Negation, not amazing. And I will Brainstorm. I could play another land here to be threatening a Bowmaster. Okay, I like Thoughtseize. I'll probably just put back lands. Unfortunately, Thoughtseize will help them get Uro back, though. Guess they're 2 cards away. I don't know, maybe I actually won't Thoughtseize just yet. It's always a card I could put back. Now, I will say this Uro will be very good for them, yes. But if the plan is to stop the Tamiyo with it, then Orcish Bowmasters will actually be quite good. Nightmares and Daydreams. Until your next turn, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, target player mills cards equal to that spell's mana value. I don't think I can allow this. And they do play Daze, so I'll just Force Pitch Murktide right now. And Force of Negation is nice because that'll keep it from being a card in Graveyard. Alright, Force Pitch Mindbreak Trap. Alright. Guess I'm going to mill some cards. Hopefully the last card is an Archive Trap. I want to dig for cards here, actually. Okay. So I do like Thought Seizing. I really hope it's not just a land in hand. Okay, Force of Will. 1, 2, 3. So Uro definitely gets to come back next turn. I'll cast Brainstorm. I could Wasteland them and then Daze Uro. That's probably the best play that I have. Maybe they mill me and I lose those lands. So I'll Wasteland Trop. I guess I still can't Daze the Uro, actually. Yeah, because they get 2 mana off the carpet. So that was just a miscounting on my end. But at this point, it's just, I have to find a way to protect Tamiyo. Okay, I assume they're going to Uro around Daze. And that doesn't mill me because it is instants or sorceries. So that's good. And Brainstorm. So that's also good. Though I don't get this timing here. I would probably have drawn the card first. And I do have another land coming. Suppose I'll play it out. And I'm just going to try to Ultimate Tamiyo. Like, especially with the Uro here now. That's probably my best bet. And actually, I should Bowmaster now while I know that Daze is live. Because if their cards are Force Blue, I Daze it. Alright. If they have some sort of bounce spell, I'm in a lot of trouble. They add 3 blue. Oh, bummer. So I mill some cards. Yeah. So I can trade the Goyf and the token for this Uro. That's kind of nice. And they're very far away from getting the Uro back. They could mill themselves. Actually keep the token. Tamiyo off the top, I like that. Suppose I will go to combat first. I guess maybe the very first thing I should have done, in case they play like Endurance, is bring back Nethergoyf. And I'm still going to do that next. I think that pushing damage is more important than getting cards. But having both will be very nice. And I can just keep the Nethergoyfs coming. They've sort of milled me into all of my Nethergoyfs. Okay. Have to mill more cards, but it's just more gas for future Nethergoyfs. So I'll play Tamiyo. I'll be drawing 2 a turn. My opponent's Hellbent. Pretty soon. Has 20 or more cards in it. Draw 3. So they're actually gonna, unless they can mill me in response to this, 3 cards, then this thing is not going to draw 3. Ping them. They're getting closer to the Uro. Mystic Sanctuary put back Set Adrift, I guess. Yeah. But then declines. Okay, so they can get back Uro now. But again, I can trade and set them back again. This just has to go face. Daze looks pretty bad right now. But by golly, I'm gonna daze this spell. Wow. Didn't think Daze would find a target right now. I'll attack with Tamiyo. Fatal Push is in the yard already, so if I minus, I could get it, but that's my only removal. I do have Brazen Borrower as well. I like the idea of cracking a clue here, and then this will trade, because when they attack, I'll get to put a damage on this, and this will grow. I've also gone up on the clock. My opponent's playing a very slow deck, so as long as this game takes, if we do have a game 3, that'll be to my advantage. They gain 3. All right, so I traded with the Uro. Sorry, I got a phone call, and time is of the essence in this match, so I had to keep playing. But yeah, so the Uro is down, and I think I'm just gonna play the Bowmaster and draw a card this turn. I suppose I could have drawn the card right then. Okay, search for a trap. That's fine. I guess now I can't fetch. Yeah, that's fine. They can also just cast it, so it's not a huge deal. They can mill themselves. It's target opponent. At this point, I think playing for a timeout is pretty reasonable. I wasted some time, though, picking up a phone call. My car is at the mechanic right now, and they want me to do some more repairs. I'm kind of a sucker for that, though. I'm pretty bad about letting people do extra work on my car. Okay, Kaito is nice. That'll get this game over with, hopefully. But I'm about to lose half my library. All right, you got an archive trap. 13 cards left, so another archive trap is lethal. And I have searched my library, so they could cast it for free if that's their last card in hand. Ravenous Trap. Exile target player's graveyard. That's fine. I mean, kind of stinks, but yeah. They're hellbent, though, and I have Force of Will. Things are looking up. I'll go ahead and flash in Kaito. Just get rid of the stupid token. They are going to get to Uro, but I'll force it. 0 the Kaito. All right, that's awesome. So I'll surgical Uro right now. So now I just have to keep them off these traps. And I need to be mindful of my cards in library. So I probably should just plus the Kaito going forward, actually. I could also flip Tamiyo -3, get rid of the archive trap. That's probably worth it. So I'll ponder. Yeah, those cards are fine. I'll just draw the other ponder. And then I'll crack a clue. flip Tamiyo. Next turn, I can minus surgical the archive traps, and then it's looking pretty good to start plussing Kaito. Time is pretty neck and neck right now, and I'm not going to crack the clue. I just can't deck myself. -3 pick up surgical. Surgical right now, the archive trap. If their last card is archive trap, I have the force. Okay, they have force. I think I should let that go. Because they could have another mill spell. And if they just draw blanks, then in a couple turns, I can make that same play again. Of course, as things stand, I think I have them dead on board. So, Force of Will, whatever spell they have, and then win next turn seems good. Big spell here, 6 mana. Set Adrift. I think I'm just going to force this right now. And that should be the game. Because I plus the Kaito, and if my math is correct, that's Xaxes. Good game. All right, I'm on the draw for the last round, and this is another dubious hand that I will keep. I think my opponent has played all sorts of stuff. Looks sort of like the mirror here. And maybe they also have a dubious mana hand. So I'll be looking for lands. I think provided that the lands come, this will be all right. Maybe if I can get a removal spell as well. Okay, I didn't shuffle. All right, a land. That's great. Now I can actually start with Nethergoyf. And next turn I can already make it a 3/4. If they have Bowmaster next turn, that would stink, but I do have the Daze. And whether or not that resolves, the Daze will get it above, you know, a Bowmaster ping for lethal. All right. There's the Bowmaster, so I'll Daze it. I really hope that this resolves, actually, because my double brainstorm hand, yeah. Not great. I can probably ponder. I can go crack the Delta, ponder, snuff out, awkward in this situation. But I'm going to try to make my Nethergoyf big and push damage, so ponder's not the worst right here. Those cards are not bad in the event that I don't get wastelanded. Suppose I'll give it a try. But yeah, the double brainstorm looks bad. Really, it is quite unfortunate that that Bowmaster resolved. Hopefully they play like I don't know, maybe they have Katara or something like that that I could snuff out pretty nicely. Another Bowmaster is getting kind of brutal, because now they have the better clock. But I'll wasteland them, and I'll go to combat, and then I can play Tamiyo. And whether Tamiyo lives or dies is kind of immaterial. If Tamiyo dies, that grows Nethergoyf. Okay, and they're still swinging out. It's fine. So I go to 8. Just play out another land. And I suppose I can swing. It would be worthwhile, I think, to crack a clue. But yeah, something's going to have to give here. Murktide would just be a 5/5. Maybe they hold back Bowmasters, though, now? No, they don't. Okay. So I'll go to 3. Maybe I can't actually crack a clue. This is just looking really bad. Yeah, I can't crack a clue. Okay. Well, they don't have days up, so I'll just push the 3/3, actually. Force. Okay. Pitch Kaito. If I attack with Nethergoyf here, I probably need it back on blocks. I don't know. I suppose I'll attack with it. And now I have to hope they don't have Snuff Out or Fatal Push. Okay, awesome. No attacks. Okay, Wasteland means I could hard cast Snuff Out. Attack for 6. If they have removal on Tamiyo, I could snuff out the Tamiyo in response and grow Nethergoyf. But let's see what happens here. Now they can't snuff out. Okay, go to combat. Attack for 3. So I will block with Tamiyo. Yeah. Okay. They have Tamiyo. That's pretty good. Do you have Daze? I suppose I could have gone to my turn. But yeah, okay, awesome. That felt like a pretty bad game. Yeah, what was I gonna draw the next turn? I figured if I drew like Fatal Push or something, Thoughtseize, okay. So yeah, that was just kind of a, I don't know. I guess that was a call there to try to have mana open for the next turn for whatever I top decked. So, because if I top deck, let's say Bowmaster, that would be good. They couldn't force, so they really just had to have Daze. All right, so in the mirror, I like the Snuff Out, though you saw it really wasn't very good that game until the very end. And then all the other removal, Barrel Waves, and then it's Force of Wills out and 1 Daze out. Daze is still pretty decent. And so I keep this on the play and the draw. I don't really make any changes. And then you just want all your removal. Thoughtseize is pretty good. You can Thoughtseize a Murktide or a Barrelgoyf for really whatever. And honestly, just playing the game with information is super valuable. And unlike Izzet, where you saw me earlier board out the Thoughtseizes, Dimir doesn't have the same pressure on the life total. So I have to mull, but my opponent is mulling as well. I have to mull again. Man, that stinks. This has been a league full of really bad opening hands, to be honest. Alright, my opponent is set on 6, but I have to go to 5. Alright, I'll keep. I suppose like definitely Thoughtseize is going away. Kaito seems closer and farther than Murktide in a way. I'll probably just bin the Kaito. Okay, no play. Alright. I like that. Well, I'm gonna start spending my mana. Play a cantrip before they can Bowmaster. These cards all look really nice. So maybe there's a shot. Okay, no Surveil from the opponent. This could be Brainstorm right here. All right, Wasteland and Swamp. Okay, interesting. So does that mean, what does that mean? Do they not have the other land? Like, did they just play Scared of Wasteland and now they're gonna have to top deck a blue source? Are they hiding a blue source for some reason? I'm pretty confused. Okay, so this turn, it's unfortunate they know about the Bowmaster because with Wasteland especially, and if they do have another land, they can make me Bowmaster first. But I'm going to play my land, and I'll hold the Brainstorm because I still know the top card of my library. I'm sort of a sucker for a maximum value Brainstorm. And I'm just going to spend the mana now because they're going to make me do it. If they have a Bowmaster, they're at least not Wastelanding me. If they're Wastelanding me, then they're not clearing my Bowmaster. So, okay. So this time I can Fatal Push plus Brainstorm, and that'll be all right. Could also Thoughtseize, but then I can't Brainstorm. I'll start by going to combat. I suppose they're not going to trade, though, or they're not going to block with a Bowmaster being held up. And I'm sort of priced into just clearing this because I need a cantrip looking for lands. If I find a land, though, I can Thoughtseize. Okay, sweet. Thoughtseize into Murktide, pretty good when they probably could only kill it with a Snuff Out. So I'll fetch an Underground Sea and Thoughtseize then. There's this, oh, Snuff Out and Feed the Cycle. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I'll start by taking the Snuff Out. Because if they want to Wasteland me, I mean, they know my card is Murktide, so they know better than to Wasteland me here. Goyf. Ooh, I wonder if this is my deck. I would love a Wasteland. Okay. Well, I think I'm priced into playing it. The Feed the Cycle will shrink the Goyf a little bit. But I'm going to go for the minimum value Murktide that I can. So I'll tap the land. And then just do that. Yeah, I'll clear the Bowmaster as well. So just a 5/5. I'm not going to commit too hard to it. And then I didn't tap this land because I do want to Surveil. Okay, they got the blue source. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now they don't have to clear card types. So I need something good here. I'm not going to block because I think Ninjutsu for Kaito is probably a pretty good thing I could do. I'll get Undercity Sewers. I don't want another land. Oh, man. Okay. Now I think I have to hold back on blocks. Yeah, I'm going to take this opportunity to chump. Be unfortunate if they have Kaito. They don't. Cameo, okay. Well, there's the Fatal Push target. But it's starting to look bad. Yep, there's Fatal Push. So they have Murktide. They have one unknown card plus their draw step. I have basically nothing going on. I think Barrowgoyf is probably the thing that saves me. All right, I'm dead. Well, that was a multi 5, and that ended up being somewhat close. They did have 6, so yeah, I'm going to run it back. I hope to get a positive record here, but losing to a Nethergoyf build of Dimir Tempo that my challenge successes have been popularizing is an okay way to go out. And I know my opponent is a very good player. They've been like really high on a lot of trophy leaderboards, maybe even been a trophy leader before. All right, I'm on the play. Man, Wasteland of only mana source. All right, I can keep this. Bottom Brazen Borrower. That's like the most luxury card of all of these things. They're good on 7. Hopefully the Thoughtseize collapses their hand. Huh. Well, that's a pretty Thoughtseize proof hand, I'll say. Just take a Tamiyo, and then I can Fatal Push the other one. And if they force to protect it, I guess it's okay. I assume they're going to Tamiyo here rather than Wasteland me. No, they're going to Wasteland. Okay. It's fine. All right, the land is good. I'll just drop that land right now because this one could be a Surveil land. All right, Tamiyo is good. I will play around Daze. Sadly, Force Pitch Force is just a really good way to go about it, but if they're forcing to protect the Tamiyo and I get to keep, say, Barrowgoyf around, I'll take that. Awesome. With that resolving, I will be patient on the Ponder. They might just have Undercity Sewers as a land, which means they wouldn't have Bowmaster up. Okay, Brainstorm, it's pretty good. I'm guessing those Force of Wills are going to go away. All right, I'm going to guess that I pretty much have no information about their hand, but I'll keep this up for a little bit. All right, another Tamiyo is pretty annoying, but now I can Surveil. A land is perfect. I will Ponder first. Those are good. I don't really think I'm going to be Wastelanding them. I'll put that on bottom. Draw the land. Play Nethergoyf. And maybe the aggro Goyfing can get in the way of this Tamiyo. Like if all they're doing... Oh, my opponent has some very nice things to say in the chat. Yeah, it's been interesting putting so much effort into this Dimir deck. It's like it is like the villain deck, and it's the clear best deck in Legacy. But there's like a big demand for that, I would say, like because okay, there's a push. Yeah, this is all fine. I'm glad that the Barrowgoyf won't be eating that. I don't want them to have Force of Will though, for the Goyf. I definitely don't think I want the Wasteland. So, man, this is tricky. Yeah, I'm gonna jam the Barrowgoyf. Like I'm guessing these Force of Wills are gone. Certainly that's what I would have put back. But yeah, to finish my thought about like being on the quote unquote best deck or even like villain deck, like, a lot of people want to do well and win events or top eight, and having really good having a really good sense of how to play, the top deck would be one of the best things to do. So it's been fun from that perspective to kind of help people with that. All right, so I need something good here. Feed the Cycle is probably the best thing I could draw. Murktide's okay. So I could double spell here if I'm not afraid of a daze. I'm going to offer this trade, though, to start out. I don't mind if we both clear each other's Goyfs. I definitely think you have to take this trade, though, because, like, what if I get another Barrowgoyf off of this? Yeah. And I was going to have chumps for days with the Bowmaster, so that's fine. We'll just take it from there. And I'll go as heavy on the instants and sorceries as I can. Plenty of lands as well. This is going to be awkward with bringing back Nethergoyf. That's sort of looking like a very far away reality right now. And I'm not going to jam the Bowmaster into days. Like, maybe if they have Brainstorm, that could be tempting. But they probably would only Brainstorm into open Bowmaster mana if they had... yeah, dang, that's fine. Now they have... Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to be tempted by that. If they tap out, though, I will flash it in. Wait, okay. Yeah, it's just too rough if this gets dazed. I can't let that happen. All right, another Murktide, I suppose, is fine, though it's just going to be a 3/3. That's pretty rough. Yeah, I think I just have to pass. Yeah, I can't have a Murktide region be smaller than a Nethergoyf. That's just not allowed. This is fine. I'll take the damage. I'll just play it out. I gotta start jamming here. And now on the end step, like, now they would need to find an answer. Okay, they let it hit. So they either have removal for it. Yeah. Yeah, this is looking pretty bad. Barrowgoyf would also help. Okay. There's Barrowgoyf. That's something. But even so, it's just really looking rough. Like, they can just hold back. Yeah. It's liable they could top deck an answer, and they definitely can get Revolt by just cracking the clue. Yeah, it is that petty theft, sure. Well, my life total is plenty high. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm sensing Kaito, which is probably just GG if they're swinging with Bowmaster like this. So, yeah, let's see the Kaito. Okay, just another Bowmaster. Okay. And then they get to ping that. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm just going to jam Barrowgoyf again. And I could Murktide. Again, it would just be a 3/3. But I think it's becoming a forced play. There's no card types that'll be lost for Barrowgoyf. So this at least makes swinging with Tamiyo awkward. But this is really bad. This is looking like a disaster. Yeah, just snuff out for Murktide. Brutal. Alright, so they have a flip Tamiyo. It's going to be pretty much impossible to ever get to it through all of these chumps. I definitely have to start swinging with the Barrowgoyf, so I got to figure something out here. Though, I mean, I'm probably just going to lose, to be totally honest. They've drawn a million cards off this Tamiyo. Thoughtseize is a card type, so that's sort of valuable. Okay. But now, like, they can just throw everything in front of the Goyf. Okay, that seems fair. I'll take the trade. Seems like about the best I could do. If I get another Barrowgoyf immediately, maybe. But yeah, they can always just minus, pick up Fatal Push. All right. Yeah, Murktide looks good. Yeah, this was definitely a game that got soloed by Tamiyo. That Tamiyo just stuck around. Sure, so yeah, they have Lethal on board, and I top deck the days. Yeah, GG's. Definitely not gonna work out this time around. I'm totally fine with losing to the Nethergoyf Dimir Mirror, though. So a 2-3 record is like a far cry from winning a challenge. So how did this wind up being so different? Well, number one, I do think there were some rough matchups. I think that anytime you're up against like a Azorius deck, it should have like a slight edge with its removal. And my removal got blanked by that those Givers of Runes, so that was pretty annoying. Against the first matchup, the Affinity deck, they just pushed damage really quickly, and I got chaliced out of the game. That's a pretty tough matchup, and I think that, like, at least right now, is a pretty underplayed deck. I don't know if players who play that deck feel like it's being hated on a bit, but after winning Eternal Weekend really recently, I would think that deck has some legs, and I'm surprised I don't see more of it. And then the final match was a strong opponent playing the best deck, and the version that's good into the mirror. So I can't be too mad about that, though I wish I had picked it up. So yeah, I mean, this league wasn't very good, but I don't think that really says much about what, like, any changes to the deck or anything like that. I mean, you definitely could look at like the difference between the league meta and the challenge meta and try to make a call from that, but I don't typically do stuff like that. Like, I don't really like go to my locals and put cards in because I know I might run into, you know, this guy or that guy. I kind of just try to always have the very best version of the deck, objectively speaking, in an open meta or in a semi-expected meta, and hope that that is good enough. So anyway, the deck feels great. Just congrats to everybody who's picking up this list and doing well with it. It's super encouraging to see, and to see faustosouza on that as well, who's an excellent player. Continues to make me feel validated that this is a really good approach. It's definitely a Dimir heavy meta, and so you want a deck that's not only good against Dimir, but good against a wide field, and this feels like the deck. So if you stuck around to the end, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.